What was life like for you before you were a streamer? What was it that encouraged you to go into streaming in a market that almost didn't exist at that point? Like you said, Twitch wasn't really a thing.
Right.
So what was it that encouraged you to go from what you were doing into Twitch?
Well, I've always been a gamer, so that was easy. That was the easy part, playing video games on Twitch. But like, my life was, I was a server. I served tables. Um, Worked at a place called Ale House for like 6 years or so, and just was serving and just making money and just living, just kind of living, paycheck to paycheck.
Mm.
And yeah, like I stumbled upon Twitch because I got into this game called War Z. It was called. Then it got renamed to Infestation because like legal reasons or something because of the movie World War
Mm.
Z.
Yeah.
I fell in love with this survival game. I stumbled upon Twitch because I was looking at YouTube videos like how to get better at the game, and then someone like linked their Twitch. I was like what is this? So I clicked it, and the person happened to be live, and I was like, this is weird. Like, am I watching a video? What is going on? I didn't even know what I was witnessing, and then I found out it was a live stream. I saw the chatting. I saw I was interacting with this community, and I was just like, this is interesting. Like, this is cool. Like, this, I can't believe people do stuff like this. So then I just slowly researched it, made my Twitch channel, and just started playing the game in that category and trying to become part of the Twitch community, back then. And it just, there was no like, now it's kind of like, what do you expect from streamers? Like how they're going to be, how they're going to act and stuff, back then it was like the Wild West. Like it was just like,
Mm.
some people didn't talk at all. Some people talked, some people just, it was interesting. So, but I had people that I respected. I would watch, like Summit 1G was a big streamer in the War Z game, which he's a huge streamer still. But I would watch him, and I would watch people like their names are Yeti Nation and Atomic Penguin. These guys were, I didn't remember their names back then. And I just got inspired by all these guys. QMG Saint, I just was inspired. So I was like trying to model myself after them. Like, okay, they're interacting with their chat, but this was when I first started, there was no alerts on Twitch, like no PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it wasn't like you didn't have a format where, and there, a lot of people had sub button either. So, like now you go on a stream and it's like people are interacting with chat. It's like, hey, thanks for subscribing. Hey, thanks for the $4. Thanks for the $2. Thanks for subscribing. Play the game, interact. You have like a format that you're constantly rotating in to keep everything lively and flowing. But back then it wasn't like that. So it was like, when you first started, it was like, oh, like no one's chatting. Like I'm just sitting here like playing a game. Like, you know what I mean? And then even if you did have people eventually like 10 or 20, they weren't typing all the time, and there wasn't like sub and alerts going off. So it was just very, it was all about just like the game
Mm.
play, basically.
So I was going to ask, like, at what point was it that because you said about like interacting with your chat and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, as a gamer, would you play a lot of games with your brother or your friends and stuff, or were you a gamer that would play very much like on your own and stuff like that? Like,
I've played with my brothers, but I've always been more of a lone wolf in games. Like I always, like even when I played MMOs, I wasn't like the top guilds, but I always like I was the lone wolf in the guild. Like when it came to PvP, like
mm,
when it was player versus enemy and farming and getting gear, like I was with my groups. But when it was like PvP player versus player, just I liked playing solo. I like beating people solo. I've always liked that personally.
mm.
So that's what I liked.
That's really interesting. I I, I like that you brought up about Twitch not having sub buttons and stuff like this because I joined back in 2016. So for me, I remember the times where people were still contesting trying to get a sub button, for example, like
Hmm.
partnered streamers who were still going, "Hey, I still don't have a sub button yet. Is there any way I
Yeah.
could get one?" Um and it is really crazy to see how far Twitch has come from even needing 500 concurrent viewers to get partnered, or at least to
Right.
apply for partnership. Then it went down to 300, 150, and now is currently at 75. um what is it like for you as somebody that had to go through the process of having a really high concurrent viewership to get partnered, seeing people who maybe come across as maybe entitled when they have got their 75 concurrents and they're screaming about why they aren't partnered yet? Like,
Hmm.
what is that like for you as someone that had to really grind to hit sort of 500?
It really doesn't affect me at all. Like I feel like every person has their own individual outlook on what they're worth and what is right, you know? So like I don't me personally, like it was hard for me to get mine and I had to stick at 500 concurrent just to even so it in the grand scheme it was harder, but like to me it's still like it's almost the same because you're just wanting to be a part you want to become something, you know?
Mm,
So at the base root of it, it's like it doesn't matter because like we're all trying to become something, we're all trying to make it, we're all trying to succeed. So it's like the same thing essentially,
mm.
numbers out. So it's just like that's what I see it as. So I'm not one of those people that are like, oh my god, man, and we had to work hard back then. I'm not like that. I'm like, whatever, man. Like more streamers, it's a good platform. Streaming's a fun thing. It's not exclusive to this person or this person. It's like whoever wants to do it, do it. You know what I'm saying?
And it's arguably never been easier to do it as well. I think that's something that
So
people
much
often,
tutorials,
yeah, absolutely.
tutorials. Twitch is on your side. They push you with like the progress bar of like now you're affiliate, now you're working towards partner. It's all just like I don't know. It's a good ecosystem of
Mm.
you know. I think like the people that are thriving to become streamers are people that watch too. So it's like it's all just like it's all kind of like this ecosystem of everyone. I
I
don't know how to
think
explain it.
I
Something like
think
that.
that's a really good way of looking at it because, I know a lot of content, I guess. When people have their popularity originally, they might loop back around to it and recycle a lot of content when they're on their own because it can be hard to break out into other categories, for example. But that almost sometimes can get stagnant, like as a
Yes.
streamer. What was it like? Well, I guess there's two questions I could ask based off of that.
Okay.
One is like obviously you've helped a lot of smaller content creators and stuff, and you're on this podcast right now, which has only a couple of hundred subscribers right now, and you're on episode 3, and I really
But we here
appreciate
first is
it.
gonna blow up.
There you go.
We here at the beginning.
And you've helped people like Daquan, for example, with getting into the
Mm,
Fortnite Invitational
yeah.
and stuff like that. Like, what is it that really encourages you to help the smaller streamer and stuff like that? Obviously, you said about it being a big ecosystem, but is there something
hmm
like inherently inside you that makes you go, "Hey, I just want to help people"?
Yeah, I think it translates from my real life. I'm always trying to help people in my real life get set up, do things. It's just who I am. It's in me. But also, I I see things in people. Like I see that they're great. I can see it. And even though they may have 5 viewers, they're still great. You know what I mean? So it's like it's kind of fun to be like, okay, like this guy is great. Because I used to watch like, for instance, I used to watch TFue when he had like 30 viewers.
Mm,
And I remember my friend CD in the third, he goes by C's. Me and him subbed to him when he had like maybe 20 people watching and he jumped out the window. He was going crazy because we subbed to him. And I was joking with Caesar. I was like, yo, man, like we should make an org and sign this kid. Like he's the best player. And like I used to watch him for all the Fortnite tricks and tips. And meanwhile, I was getting like 10,000 viewers,
mm,
15,000 viewers, but I'm sitting here watching TFue gaining all this knowledge. So I'd be on my stream like people are like, whoa, where'd you learn that pyramid trick? And I'm like, TFue, like this guy TFue, he's freaking
mm.
nuts. So like, and then TFue blew up into the biggest Fortnite player that ever.
Yeah.
Like Ninja is known as the biggest, but like in my opinion, like TFue was the greatest and biggest of all time. Like he was doing things that people were not doing, and like he made default skin popular. Like
Mm.
that's how powerful his reach was. Like he made wearing no skin a thing, like no skin in Fortnite. And yeah, like like I see people that are great, and I'm like, what I mean? Like maybe a little push, maybe mention a name, and it's like let's see what happens.
Mm.
And I'm not saying I'm the reason TFU blew up or anything, but I'm saying like I played with them. I help a little bit exposure, and it's just fun to see people that who I think are truly deserving and great just explode.
I think it also the amount of inspiration that can give to someone or even motivation it can for
Mm,
somebody who is in um their field of work that you want to get into and you look up to, for them to take it upon themselves to say, hey, I'm going to spend some time with you, like that can be such a motivational thing. And I think it happens a lot on Twitch where people get to work their way up into a position where somebody sees their value, like you said. And I think
Yes.
that's really, really encouraging, to be able to have so many great people out there that have so many different skills.